Hi, I am Denise Newton Fitzpatrick. As many know, I am an advocate for equality, a fighter for civil rights, with all having civil rights. I have my son here right now, and he's walking off. This is Julian, and he's drinking a beverage. He loves to drink. He can't get enough juice. He just drinks beverages all day long almost. But this is Julian, and of course, Julian, put your hand on, you can see it. You got to put, you can see your face. I can't see your face. And wave, Julian. Wave. Yeah, that's Julian. That's my son. You're going to be talking about Julian and discrimination. He's also an advocate for equality, as well as he is the one that, along with me, are victims of illegal housing discrimination. And this is Julian again, because he is on the Denise and Julian show, and that is my son Julian. Okay, you can go back there. He's going to be interviewed. He's going to be interviewing people as well. And I want to say this, that we're encouraging people again to tell their stories of injustices that have been inflicted upon them. They don't have to be homeless people, or I've ever even had to be homeless. People in general that have been inflicted with injustices now and now and then and now, continuing. You're welcome to tell their stories on our first session of the Denise and Julian show. We have an organization called Ruby's Vision, and Ruby will be interviewing, or at least will be interviewed in regards to injustices that have been inflicted upon them. I want to say that our encouragement on getting others to speak is very important. As we know, we should, maybe we don't know, many don't know, but stories, they recognize each of our own, should I say, our own realities. They put us together towards improving, enhancing and creating a fairer place to live. Ultimately, it goes beyond creating awareness. Stories create empathy. We are in a great place to tackle big complex injustices. I'm going to say some quotes now from some people that we have all heard of. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King said, as long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world in silence, none of us can truly rest. That was not Martin Luther King Jr. That was Nelson Mandela. But Martin Luther King Jr. said this: in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. He also said the ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty of the bad, but the silence of the good. We encourage, again, people to stand up. Someone said, what do you do? I said, I encourage, one of the things, I encourage people to stand up for their rights and to know what their rights are. Because as my dad said many years ago to me when I was growing up, I heard it all along growing up. He said, and I've said this many times on other posts and videos, my dad said, if you don't know your rights, you have no rights. He said, if you don't exercise your freedom of speech, you may as well not exist. And then at the end he said, stand up for your civil rights and the civil rights of others. As we go on, me and my son and others, we would hope that many will collaborate with us as we do the right thing. The talk show will be a show of respect, kindness. It will be educational and informative for others and ourselves. We will share the laws that we were violated under. We will hear others do the same. It won't just be a bunch of blabbering and talking. There'll be feedback from hearing the stories of others. We do want to create empathy and concern and compassion for victims of injustices. Me and my son that you met a few minutes ago, we know those injustices. We have walked them. We have felt them. We have suffered from them. We have been damaged from them, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That is what has fueled our desire, one of the things, to stand up for others. My dad's words when I was growing up. And then the Bible, it says to do that. As we stand up for the rights of others in obedience. When I sit back sometimes and I think and I look around, and I found out a little bit earlier today that the United States court system now honors George Floyd. It seems there's a bill of the George Floyd Act. And then people talked about how the buildings are looting and all of that. I don't agree with any burning and killing. But I can say this. They're really the ones that were doing it. The ones that provoked it and started it. There used to be a song a long time ago said, don't start none, won't be none. So I think about all of the burning. I think, I hate to think, but it crossed my mind, and I said, if the people were silent, would there be an act, George Floyd? Would there be Confederate flags taken down and all of that? Now don't think I condone and think violence is cute, but I understand. I'm a very understanding person. I know that people, someone sent me a post yesterday, said people all bleed blood. So they should all be treated right. The same for one, the same for another. And I am one of those kind of people. I never did see any sense in why the color of skin made a big difference. I always thought that was ignorance and foolishness. Because I've got niece that, or a niece that has biracial children, and a sister that has biracial daughter. Am I supposed to dislike them, even though I don't touch them much? It's a personal thing. But I do love them. I love them from a distance. But am I supposed to turn my back on them because they have some black blood or white blood in them and not love them? I do a lot of loving from the distance. But what point I am making now, I am encouraging, and that's what I do, encourage people to stand up for their civil rights and the civil rights of others, because that's how I know. That is what my dad told me. That's what he said. And that's what I'm saying today. And when he said, stand up for your civil rights and the civil rights of others, I said, yes, Daddy, I will. So it's very important to me, having walked in my dad's footsteps. His name was Chester O. Newton. And my mom always said, you're just like him. You're just like your dad for the world. Well, I am on that end. And I can see my demeanor, my mannerisms and all that. It's like him. And he was a fighter for civil rights. So to make it a long story short, since I can go on and on, join. Be a participant. I have it posted on my site, Denise Fitzpatrick public page. I have it posted. There'll be 3 categories. 1, tell your stories, please. 2, be the interviewers of others. 3, just listen and ask questions. One thing, if you like, one thing that does get to me is that many times people will talk amongst themselves about things. And then when you do something to bring something out that they have been mistreated, they don't want to participate. I'm not knocking anyone or calling any names. But that's one thing that baffles me. I have people that I talk to all the time. I said, well, will you participate? I can't make anyone feel comfortable talking. And I'm not trying to make anybody do nothing. But I will encourage to stand up and speak out. Because again, silence, it doesn't work. It may work in some things. With everything, there's a time and a season. But this is a time to stand up and expose injustices. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll participate, and the way to participate is to just reply. Now, I know my Facebook page is not my target audience. I've got some other groups that are my target audience. And I'm still saying this on this page. Please participate in one of the 3 categories. We need more people to participate in telling the stories of what somebody's done wrong to them, now or then. But we welcome any kind of participation in one of the 3 categories. Thanks for listening. Again, I'm Denise Newton Fitzpatrick. I am proud to be a fighter for civil rights. I am proud that I exposed me and my son's case, because that's what I was supposed to do. I am proud to be a advocate for equality. Have a good day. Goodbye now.